883.
CentreForce! What's going on, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here with my pal Ryan Archer with a Total Football Show. 90 minutes of non-stop football talk and obviously some songs in between, so it's not all non-stop, but happy days, Ryan. Happy Hammer this week, yeah. Probably the first show where we've actually had to talk about a win, for a West Ham win. But anyway, before we get into that, mate, what have you been up to this week?
Do you know what, mate? As once again, not a lot, but I've done me back in. Me back's killing me, mate.
Was it all the laughing we was doing earlier?
Yeah, it was. That was funny. I won't tell the story why we was laughing, because I'll start again and I'll have tears rolling down my face. But nah, that's been a good weekend, mate. It's always better on a Monday, waking up when West Ham win. And the way they performed made it even better, mate.
All right, we'll be going through all the West Ham action, of course, and lots of other stuff, including what we got, right? What we got coming up on the show?
Yeah, loads to talk about, mate. Premier League roundup. Just loads of bits and pieces. We'll have some questions. I've got some questions come in that we'll go through. But yeah, you can talk about that Dimitri Payet goal as well. You seen that? Zlatan's goal. Did you see that?
Goals galore this weekend.
They were good, but they wasn't Yarmolenko.
Yeah, that's right. They wasn't Yarmolenko. Right, well, we're going to get straight into, right, if you want to get involved in a chat tonight, 07709 333 883 on the WhatsApp. Let us know if you want us to talk about anything. We can talk about anything. We're going to go to West Ham at the minute, but you know, any suggestions you've got, we're quite willing to talk about anything today, because I'm so relaxed. It's a weight off my mind, to be quite honest.
It's nice when you get a win, isn't it? It's so nice, so much better. We've had weeks and weeks of talking about losses.
I'm glad to be coming in here to talk about positives rather than negatives, you know what I mean, and what we need to do and all that, because I thought, going through the performance, mate, I thought the performance was an absolute stormer, to be quite honest with you, and it was just a totally different West Ham than what I've seen over the last few weeks. They just seem to turn up.
I think it's the way we set up as well. I think Declan Rice playing just in front of that back four.
He was absolutely phenomenal.
Do you know what? I can't fault anyone yesterday. I think Noble and Obiang worked well together. Noble broke a lot of play up.
Was you a bit like me? Because obviously I went up to Liverpool and you was your home, yeah okay. But yeah, was you a bit confused about the former? Because I thought to myself, they're just free the same player in the. There's no creativity in there.
No, I actually thought it would work well, because I thought it'd give Obiang that to go forward, you know, give him a bit of, just to push forward a bit, and Mark Noble there to cover. And I thought Declan Rice would just break up play, and him and Noble was breaking up play all game. And as you see for the second goal, Noble, the way he broke it up. But no, Yarmolenko, so glad for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was
his first Premier League start.
And then a double on his first start. He looked brimming of confidence coming in from last week. You know, you mentioned last week that he'd scored for the Ukraine in the midweek, and he just looked to be continuing that form. Do you think there's anything to do with like the international break? Why, you know, because we was all sitting there last week and we was talking about, you know, Pellegrini's gone back to Chile, and you know, he should be doing this and he should be doing that. Do you reckon a few days rest and a couple of the players going off to international duties cleared their minds a little bit and took the pressure off of them?
Yeah, definitely. We said around the club at that time, it was so negative. Everyone's down because of the defeats, especially losing at home to Wolves. So getting away has obviously done the world of good. You know, we done it last season when we went to Miami and we come back and got a win. So, no, I think it's good, and it's just a performance. The back four yesterday, I think Masuaku coming in for Creswell. I'm not a massive Masuaku fan, but he had a good game yesterday. Zabaleta as well, coming in for Fredericks. And once again, Balbuena and Diop. Unbelievable. Yeah. They're getting a nice little partnership there.
Yeah, Ogbona's going to struggle to get back into that team.
Ogbonna and Winston Reid when he comes back.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, we've got some... Lanzini's going to be due back in February, so you've got a few months for him, but Carroll apparently is going to be back in the next month and so he's going to have a struggle to get in, because I thought Arnautovic was back to Arnautovic yesterday. He was running the show. Yarmolenko stole the headlines, but I think, like, you know, when you look at the first goal, because we didn't start that great, and it was important to sort of break them up a little bit, and to sort of make sure they didn't get a foothold of the game, because we all know what happens when you go to Everton and they get a foothold. If they get a goal, you're normally going to concede 6 or 4 or 5
we've seen that
or whatever.
over the years, didn't we? Especially last season. Do you remember when Wayne Rooney, when he scored an hat-trick against us? You know, and that was the game last season that turned Everton's season around, because they were struggling last season. So hopefully it turns our season around now, going into these big games coming up. But yeah, no, I can't fault anyone yesterday. Honestly, I thought Pellegrini got his spot on.
See, the only thing, people, like, when they're watching West Ham Fan TV, there's always this little sort of danger for us, like, because I didn't think Anderson had a magnificent game, but when people have been watching it on the TV, apparently he was doing all sorts of bits.
Yeah, I mean, I see your view of the game yesterday, and it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't great. No.
So no, but I thought Anderson had a really good game, and he sort of got into the game. It took him a little while to get into it, but once he did, he got a bit of confidence. He was trying to take people on, looking for that forward pass to Arnautovic, linking up with Obiang in the middle. I thought he played really well.
The only thing I can probably, do you know what it is? I think I'm a little bit more harsh on him, really, because I think I put him on a pedestal, and I'm always like, and I don't know whether you do this subconsciously, but I definitely do it. I'm always comparing him to Payet and the impact that Payet had when he first come in, and you're thinking, like, you know, a similar sort of like creative player who's meant to be able to score goals and take people on and that, and you know, I'm always comparing him to him. Do you know what I mean? Because he's our record signing, and maybe I put him on a higher pedestal than I put other players on. You know what I mean? I'm not expecting too much of Yarmolenko. I'm not expecting too much of Balbrenner. But when it comes to Anderson, I'm thinking, right, you need to be tearing this up. You cost us nearly 50 million quid.
I think that's the same with any club that gets a record signing in. You expect them to come in and hit the ground running straight away, and expecting them to score goals and doing everything and winning, but we've been losing games, so it's been a tough start for him. But hopefully now we've got our first win, we can go on, and we're live on Sky again on Sunday against Chelsea, lunchtime kickoff, so that's going to be a massive game for him to perform in. And as you said, I thought he had a really good game yesterday. I was impressed with him.
I mean, I can only say what I see, and I didn't see, I wasn't that impressed. But as I said, I think I put him on a bit of a pedestal. I think I put him in too high regard. I think I'm expecting too much too soon. He's still got to settle. I thought he had an excellent game against Arsenal yesterday. I thought his passing was off. That's the thing I think that I really noticed. I suppose when somebody's having, you know, had a few bad games, you always notice the bad rather than the good. And I noticed that his passing he's not the greatest. But, you know, saying that, we didn't really need his creativity, because Arnautovic was all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, the first goal, Arnautovic and
muscle,
Arnautovic and Obiang, 1-2 in the middle, straight over the top. He goes through. We all think he's going to pull his left peg. You know what he's like, but we criticised him earlier in the season for not passing. But he see Yarmolenko, one look up, bang, cross, and it's a goal. And we deserved it. We deserved it at that point.
It was at an important time as well, because they were starting to get a back.
The crowd was starting to get up as well.
Yeah. But excellent goal that was. Then we scored the second, and what a goal that was.
Yeah,
that was a beauty.
Even that, Pickford got the ball, and he's tried to play it out, and Noble's read it, and he's got stuck straight in, won the ball back. He was looking for the foul, but lucky enough for us, the referee said play on. Yarmolenko, he's running at him. He's dropping his shoulder, he's looking for that angle, then bang. Well, great finish. Great goal, and it's going to give him huge confidence.
What's changed over the last couple of weeks? Because I was saying on our fan cams yesterday, they looked to be more like a more crisp, sharper tone of football. People were looking for the ball. Obiang, I thought, had an excellent game.
Yeah, it looks like what we've been trying to do all season, but it's actually come off. It's actually worked.
What do you think? He's just sticking with what he's said?
Well, he's obviously changed his formation, and he's put Declan Rice in midfield as well. And Declan Rice got criticised at the beginning of the season when he come off against Liverpool. And that's another thing as well. These people criticised him, and I see people that really criticised him yesterday, praising him, saying that he should be getting a new contract, he should be playing every week. So this is why you got to stick with your players sometimes. And no, I thought Yarmolenko for me was, that's his best performance so far in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah.
And it's his first start in the Premier League, so he's got to start next week. You can't change a winning team now.
No, I would quite, stringently say that you have to stick with what we've got, because I thought everyone had good games. We've got Chelsea coming up, obviously, next week. They're on a fantastic run of form at the minute. And they've got, to be honest with you, all the talk about Liverpool, Man City, they've gone a little bit under the radar, haven't they, Chelsea? They're just getting on a bit quietly. Hazard's in good form. Scored a hat-trick at the weekend, of course. And I'm not worried, because I always think we give Chelsea a good game, but could they be early title contenders? Should people be looking at them as early title contenders? Yeah,
of course, definitely. They're definitely up there. Played 5, won 5. They're like you said, they're going unnoticed, but they're going to drop points at some time. Let's just hope they start on Sunday against West Ham.
Realistically,
realistically, we've got to turn up, and we've got to be better than what we was against Everton.
I was just about to say, is a performance like we put in against Everton enough against Chelsea? Because although it was a good performance from us, Everton were quite poor.
Yeah,
and we did give the ball away a couple of times. We got caught dwindling. I think at 2-1, I think Yarmolenko got caught short on the ball and nearly cost us a goal. Then Sanchez again nearly cost us another goal.
Yeah, we're lucky that. We're lucky that Everton didn't have a main striker yesterday that could finish, because they could have ended up winning that game. I mean, when they got that goal back just before half time, as a West Ham fan this season, you fear the worst. You're thinking, here we go, they're going to come out, and just as Everton were getting on top, their crowd were noisy, they was lifting the players. We went up the other end and got that. Arnautovic got that goal, and
they just come at the perfect time.
Yeah, massive goal, because that silenced the crowd, which I was pleased of, because I'm not a big Everton fan. I've got my feelings on their supporters and that, but
go on, tell me.
No, I just don't like them. I just the way, like, social media, really, the way they sort of slate West Ham all the time, and I think they're a club that will never be bigger than Liverpool. They call us a small club, but what they've got to realise is that we're in London with loads of teams. They'll always be in Liverpool's shadow, and I just don't like some of their fans.
They've got a little bit of a Tottenham complex, haven't they? Yeah, they can't get at the bigger brothers, so they just start picking on other people.
They're arrogant, and I think it was nice that we give them a beat yesterday, because I see a few videos from Everton channels after the game, and just to see their faces was I liked it.
They was humbled. I think what you're talking about is a video that we see a couple of weeks before on a certain channel where they was talking about the demise of West Ham, and they was all both sitting there laughing at us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and it's good that we've gone up there to and put 3 past them, taking the 3 points off of them, and that's why we beat them at the end of last season as well. So maybe that, I'm not saying that curse of Everton's over now, but we've got to beat these teams sometimes, and we've gone up there and put in a performance, and I loved it. It's massive win for West Ham.
All right, let's have a record. Let's have a little bit of never too much, and then we'll get right back into the West Ham talk, and then we'll be talking a little bit more about Premier League. So the Van Jost out, never too much. Okay. Ryan, what else we got here?
Well, the other big story from yesterday was Lucas Perez.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Do you know what? Obviously, at the game you can't see it, and there was a massive load of rumours flying around. I think Pellegrini sort of put an end to them, but there's always that. I always find in football there's always that sort of danger that they cover it up just to keep internal affairs internal. So there's always a danger that it could be true, you know what I mean? And it looked a bit of an odd situation when I saw it back.
I think this Sky commentator made it a lot worse. What happened was Antonio was warming up. Lucas Perez obviously explained today that the subs warm up in groups of 3. So the 3 was out warming up, Antonio included. Just as Antonio and that was coming back, that was when Arnautovic got injured.
Yeah.
So they had to make that instant sub. Perez was due to come on, but they had to make that instant stub straight away, because if you remember, Everton were sort of on top at that time, looking for to get that second goal. So they had to put him on straight away. Then as the cameras panned to the dugout...
No, we just scored.
Yeah, so we was 3-1 up.
And
it
they
was
was
literally
pressing.
a couple of minutes after us pressing. And then as the camera panned to the subs bench, one of the coaches was talking to Perez and he was shaking his head. So it looked like... And then the commentator said, oh, he's refusing to warm up.
But why would he say that?
I don't know.
Why would he say that if you don't know what... I mean, that's like me seeing someone shake their head and go, well, he's not paid his rent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're just making an assumption out of nothing.
I think that's just what...
He's refusing to pay his rent.
Yeah, they just looked at him and thought, oh, that's what's gone on. I think there was a Sky Sports person by the dugouts and he said that. So they're just guessing. I mean, Perez is a professional football player. He's got a lot to prove.
Should they? Sorry, mate. Before we go on. Should they have more responsibility in that sort of thing, like the press, because they can cause mountains out of molehills and cause trouble when it really doesn't. I mean, you're literally guessing.
Yeah. I think it was good that Pellegrini come out straight away after the game when questioned, and he explained, and then Perez has obviously come out today and said the reasons why, and so I think we just put that one to bed now, and because straight away when they said that, you go straight on Twitter and everyone was on there really digging out Perez, saying, oh, he should never play for the club again.
Twitter is the
devil.
It is the bane of life, I think. You know what I mean? There is just like, do you know, look, we're a social media account, so we I like to look through Twitter and stuff like that to get to grasp hold of like public opinions and things, and we get stories from there and all sorts, but it is literally the bane, isn't it? You know what I mean? As soon as something happens, they just take everything that's said as gospel, and we know as like we're like back in the old days, the papers, when something used to come out of the papers, everyone used to take that as gospel. Everyone used to take anything that's said on telly, that'll be gospel. Anything that's said on any news outlet, that we take that gospel. But with the rise of social media, we should be more educated into knowing that you shouldn't take these things as gospel. They're not the truth. You know what I mean? People will spin stories as they, like the good thing about the way that social media is used for good is that you can have a story. I remember, like, for an example, right, a couple of years ago, there was an example of a Sun journalist. It ended up being Wally Down Jr.'s son, who had a big gripe with West Ham at the time, and he put up there was all that trouble at the London Stadium at the beginning, and they just started to get it sorted out, and what happened was there was a crowd disturbance in the Crystal Palace end, and they ended up having a bit of an argument with some stewards and things like that, and he put out a story saying it all kicks off at the London Stadium again. West Ham fans are disgraceful, blah blah, and it was nothing to do with West Ham fans. Now, the way social media could be used for good, because within a few seconds of that going up, I spotted it, and being a big social account and things that could be shared, I'm going, hold on a minute, that is definitely not true, because I was there, and that was a load of Crystal Palace fans fighting over a drum, like, because the stewards were trying to take the drum off of them, and within seconds that drum that story had been taken down, and it was never to be seen again. But in the old days, they printed that in the paper, and 75% of the country would take that as gospel. Now, that's the good of social media. We should be more educated to this sort of thing.
We had the same thing with the Chelsea incident as well, when they said that we was chucking coins at them.
With the kid?
Yeah, the kid. And then we found out a totally different story.
Well, we found out that the mum took the coins out of the purse.
Yeah, because they I'm sure we can say it now, it was 2 years ago, when they backtrack on the CCTV, you actually see the mum taking money out of her purse and giving it to her little kid.
A kid, yeah.
So, and I really don't know why. I know West Ham didn't want the hassle and it all going through the press, but I really don't know why they didn't out them for doing that. Because that's wrong. Because they was just jumping on the bandwagon at the time of
trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. Obviously, we're just beating them and trying to. I don't know. Some fans just,
But anyway,
they crave attention. I don't understand why we would not be more educated to that. Like, you know, you do not take a journalist's view of things as the gospel truth. You have to make your own opinion. And as you say, like in a lot of cases, you see it in the newspapers. These people are guessing. They're guessing on what's going on. To make a story, they're not going to go, well, we think he refused to come on, but it probably wasn't, because they don't sell a newspaper.
Well, the thing is, the press today probably don't know what to do with themselves. I mean, they're jumping on this Perez story when they should be writing about how good he was yesterday. I mean, you see it all last week with the ex-West Ham employee stuff. I mean, that was an absolute joke. They're outing him, saying that he's leaking all the news and he's guessed 88 lineups and things like that, just to fill their papers.
Yeah. They do. Just, no, I haven't ordered anything. Hello, mate. We're on the radio here. Cheers. Yeah.
And Nicky's got a takeaway delivered. He ain't told me about it. Let's go and have a look. What you got in there?
No, I ain't got. That's not mine, mate. I don't know who's
the funniest thing I've seen for ages.
No, but yeah, I'm completely. I can smell the curry now. I don't know what.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, look. Let's talk about the positives. I mean, Marko Arnautovic. Did you see the stat yesterday that he's second to Mo Salah?
Is he really?
Yeah, we're in 2018 with being involved in Premier League goals. To be behind Mo Salah. Mo Salah was on 23 or something, and Arnautovic was on 16.
Yeah,
and he was there with Kane, Aguero. So it shows how important he's been for us in 2018, towards the end of last season and this season, and he's going to be a big player for us.
Yeah, he is.
He's a massive player for West Ham, and as long as we keep him fit, hopefully he's fit for Chelsea, because we're going to need him. But then we've got some good players now. We're getting a good squad together, good team.
Yeah, it seemed to be more evident, like the other day when you know, I could see the people that was missing, like Wilshere and Fredericks was not in the squad. Hernandez wasn't in the squad, and we had a good bench still, and we had a really good team. We have got that strength in depth, and
that's something we haven't had for a long time.
Yeah,
we haven't had for a very long time.
It's just making sure they all start clicking together. Once they start, I always said this from the beginning of the season, even after doing 4 games. Once he starts clicking for us, he's going to click for us massively. But
yeah, happy with the 3 points, mate.
I am over the moon.
Yeah, it's so nice.
It's such a relief, because it's not only that, I was
starting to think that this show was a curse and we was never going to get away.
Yeah, I was ready to quit. But no, definitely, because when you look at the games we've got coming up as well, them 3 points are massive. And not only that, I didn't even say the 3 points were so important yesterday on West Ham Fantasy, but the good performance was what was needed.
Yeah, because if we went up there putting a good performance and walked away with a point, we'd still be happy with that.
Yeah.
It's always about performances. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you can play bad and win, and that's always good as well. But from what we've seen this season, we knew the win was there, but you just you think to yourself, is it coming? Is it coming? And then we got a great win yesterday, and now we move on to a tough game on Sunday against Chelsea, but it's a London derby, it's at home. I'd say we probably had a worse team last season and we beat them. I know that was a different Chelsea team, but yeah,
it's all about form, mate.
I got the result right last week. I'm not going to say it this week because this is going to be a tough one, but listen, I'll take a point. I would take a point. I mean, I had this discussion today in work. Someone said, oh yeah, I'll take a point against Chelsea and I'll take a point against Man United. I said, well, to be honest, I'd rather lose one and win one, because you get 3 points. It's about points at the end of the day. I know you want momentum and, we drew with Chelsea, drew with United, but it's about points. So, but I don't want to lose to Chelsea and I don't want to lose to United. So 6 points would be even better.
I'm gonna be really accused of getting ahead of myself again. But if this does start to click and we do beat Chelsea and we somehow scrape something against United, you got to go into Brighton and that, you know, how good a team can we be? How in terms of the league positions, would we be up there with the ones to beat? Do you know what I mean? Like, if it starts to...
Yeah, I think when you look at our fixtures, once we get through this little tough running against Chelsea and United, I think from sort of like November upwards, we've got teams around us. I think we've got Man City chucked in there, but no, there's definitely teams. I mean, everyone's gone on about West Ham losing 4, bottom of the league, no points, blah blah blah. We get 1 win and we're above Burnley, Newcastle, Huddersfield and Cardiff, but no one's mentioning them. No one's saying they're having a bad season.
Yeah.
It just seems this little thing against West Ham at the moment, but all we can do is win games.
You can always go into the bit like. Obviously, I'm a West Ham fan, so I can be a little bit biased in the terms of like thinking that the world's against you and all that. But it's sort of seemed to become a fashionable thing to dig out West Ham, hasn't it? Because of the move and
because of the London Stadium,
and
spending all that money,
the expectation that came with the stadium, and people obviously they're not happy with us moving in there for the price we have moved in there. It can. It does seem like that we are a big story, and that any time that anyone can ever jump on us when we're down, like kick us when we're down, they will take that opportunity. And like it's about time we sort of dragged ourselves back up and started fighting back. And then you do that with performances.
Yeah, that's all we can do is win games, and us as fans laugh it off and just turn up week in and week out and enjoy watching our team play football.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right, John. Here. Bit of Kings of Leon there, Sex on Fire. That was one of my favourite songs. 10 years old, mate.
You was proper singing along to that, mate.
Yeah, I know. I was in the mic like Oasis. What's his name? Liam Gallagher. Sunshine.
Danny O'Neill's.
What we got now? Before we go on, 2 goals. Did you see the 2 goals? Let's talk about. No, what one was better? Right, I've seen 2 stunning goals this weekend. What one was better? You got Payet. If you want to go on and have a look, search for the Payet goal. Search for the Zlatan goal. I thought, because I see the Zlatan one first, obviously, the Zlatan one was special, but then I see Payet, and the thing is, when I see Payet score goals, I just think about how much I miss him.
Yeah, I was saying this in work today. We used to see that all the time over the bowling goals like that with Payet, and no, it was a great goal. Out of the 2, I'm going to go for Payet. Zlatan's was good. It was a great goal. It was typical Zlatan.
It's the way he just watches it come out of the sky. I mean, he never takes his eye off it, and to connect with it like that, that's a hard thing to do when it's coming down.
Payet's a talent, and now it's all settled, and he's been gone now for 2 years. We can look back and just realise how special he was for West Ham and how great he was, and what a great player. It's just it's a shame the way it ended. And I know in the summer there was rumours that he might have come back, but I don't think he would have been the same second time round. Yeah,
no, I don't think a player barely is ever the same second time round.
I think the bowling season was special. We had a special player, and let's just bury that.
Do you think
we had Payet?
But do you think this? We had Carlos Tevez for a year, and
well, really, we had Carlos Tevez for about 2 months. Well, when he turned up.
Yeah, well, no,
people call him a legend.
I disagree because I thought he was good all year, but he started scoring goals in the last 3 months or so. But he's got a legend status at West Ham. If Payet would have left, if they would have sold him, do you think he would have had the same status?
Yeah, he could have gone on to be a great at West Ham.
But even the amount of time he stayed, if he hadn't turned around, if they hadn't turned around and said, he wanted to leave, and they just said we're going to sell him, do you think people would have? There'd have been a big backlash for a start, so they couldn't.
No, me personally, I don't think Payet's a legend at West Ham. I don't think Tevez is a legend at West Ham. I think that word gets chucked around so easy these days. Legends are like Billy Bonds, whose birthday is today, Bobby Moore, Trevor Brooking, Devonshire, players like that. People that loved the club, stayed at the club a long time, won things. And I don't think Payet's a legend for West Ham.
All right, let's go on to the next subject. But what one was better? Payet's goal was better.
I'm going to go Payet.
Text me. Tell me what one was better: the Payet goal or the Ibrahimovic goal. 07709 333 883. Even if you want to get us on Twitter at West Ham Fan TV, tweet us if you want. I don't mind. Getting a few tweets from that. Anyway.
Should we have a look at the Premier League?
Yes, let's look at the Premier League.
The early game on Saturday: Tottenham versus Liverpool.
I told you.
Yeah. We called it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I had 2-2, but you made me change my mind. Liverpool. I watched this game. Liverpool they just started the game so well. Tottenham couldn't handle them.
They wasn't great, Liverpool.
Nah, they wasn't.
Like, through the game, they wasn't that great. Like Tottenham really struggled though. The goalkeeper, I mean, that goal was a bit of a farce, really.
I felt a bit sorry for his criticism on the second goal, because when they showed it in slow motion, it looks bad. He's turned around, he's gone for his own. But that happened so quick. He's reacted. Yeah, but that first
one, he's inexcusable for a goalkeeper.
Hugo Lloris, I mean, they're covering it with an injury. I think it's more than that. I honestly think it's more than that. He's obviously had his...
he's still got an hangover from the World Cup.
He definitely got caught. He got caught and got points.
He's still been out on the booze.
No, but... Yeah, it weren't great goalkeeping. Tottenham should have addressed that in the summer, getting a better backup goalkeeper.
But you say that, right? Vaughan was very highly rated when he used to play for... Was it Swansea he played for?
Swansea, yeah. But he's made... Every time I see him play for Spurs, and they've got Inter Milan this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Lloris will be back.
No, not hopefully.
Well, look, let's take our West Ham hat off for...
No, I don't want to. My West Ham hat's well and firmly on.
You know,
it stays on.
after that, Barcelona.
Yeah, I know.
But no, Liverpool were great from start to finish.
No, they wasn't great though. I don't think they was great.
They was a lot better.
They got the points.
They deserved the win. Wayne Yarnham got his first ever away goal in the Premier League.
See, I'm going to disagree. I don't think they did deserve the win. I didn't think they was that great, but that is a sign of a great team when they can turn up, not play as well as they could.
They definitely deserved the win. They definitely deserved to beat Tottenham. Yeah, they were better than Tottenham on the day. Tottenham. Harry Kane looks so
jaded,
and tired, and it's worrying because if he gets injured, if he picks up an injury, he's out for 2 or 3 months. They're really going to struggle.
Oh, I'm not worried.
No, I know you're not worried, but I'm like a match of the day pundit now. I'm getting paid to give me thoughts. Well, I ain't getting paid.
In fact, that's something I've been praying to happen for the last 4 years. To be honest,
we all do. Me West Ham head says, I don't really care, but no,
I honestly don't think they've got the because of the lack of recruitment. I don't think they've got the players to cover him. Like, he was out for a long time a couple of years ago. I remember the first 3 months of the season or something, he got a pretty bad injury, ankle injury, and they had players like Son and people like that on fire. But I think they'd struggle a little bit. Just the depth of their squad, and you know, as I say, I've had my nose rubbed in it for a little while, and they've got 2 losses on the spin now. I hope they don't lose the next 2, and then we catch them up.
Imagine that.
Yeah, because
we'll be straight on that to that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There'll be another, like, they've got Brighton away next, which is a real.
They beat United.
Yeah. They're not no pushovers, Brighton, and we've got them coming up as well, so we've got to be careful. But imagine if we got to the Tottenham game when we was above them or level points with them. That'd be a tasty one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be good. But yeah, Tottenham got a consolation goal a minute, and they could have had a penalty in the last second. Son, he to me,
it was a penalty.
It was a close one. He's kicked his foot away.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
It was very close, but no, I think Liverpool deserved the win. But then moving on, Bournemouth versus Leicester, another win for Bournemouth.
I was watching Soccer Saturday, mate, and they was just.
That's 3-0 up at half time, wasn't they?
4-0 well, they was. 4-0 up they was. They come like last couple of minutes, they got a couple of goals, Leicester.
Yeah, Madison and Albrighton got a couple back for Leicester. Wes Morgan got sent off for him. But no, Bournemouth are flying. They're flying this season. It's good to see. I mean, I watched goals on Sunday yesterday, and they had Begovic on there, and they showed the rise since Eddie Howe's been there and where they was, like 21st in League One. He left for a season to go to Burnley, but ever since then they've just gone, and that's progression. You know, now they're an established Premier League team. They've been here for what, 4 seasons now? Is it?
I think this is their 3rd.
They come up with the Payet season, didn't they?
Yeah,
we lost them, so this will be their 3rd or 4th season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But to be honest with you, mate, when they come up, like, I remember being in Bournemouth. I used to frequent Bournemouth quite a lot, like for weekends away and stuff. And I remember them being in Division 4. And I remember because I used to spend so much time down there, I used to think to myself, God, imagine if they was in the Premier League. That'd be an handy little ground to go to.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, 6 or 7 years later, they was in the Premier League, and they look like they're here to stay. They look like they mean business, and for such a small club. But see, I like the Bournemouth story. Like, I know we're going off a little bit of subject, but I like the Bournemouth story because it just shows you that you don't have to have these big gentrified grounds and these big sterilised grounds to compete in the Premier League, because they are there, and they're there on merit.
I think Bournemouth, if they're still in the Premier League in the next couple of years, they'll be looking to probably redevelop their ground and maybe get a new ground, because what's it old, 11,000?
I think about 10 or 11,000, but I think a new ground would be in order because they're in a residential area, remember?
Yeah. But no, it's great to see, and good luck to them. Moving on, Chelsea Chelsea played Cardiff. Cardiff actually took the lead in this game, which was probably the worst thing they could do, scoring so early, because it just sort of wound Chelsea
They
up.
looked like they was giving a good account of themselves. Cardiff.
Then Hazard turned up and he just sort of tore them apart.
Blitzed them, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player, and that's a player we've got to watch on Sunday.
But no disrespect to Cardiff, but Hazard is a player that can tear any team apart on his day, and it was just his day.
Yeah, definitely. Willian, scored a great goal, and as you said, Chelsea have gone unnoticed, 5 out of 5.
Yep.
Joint top of the league. Well, I think they're actually top of the league on goal difference, aren't they? So, yeah. Next up, Huddersfield lost at home to Palace. Zaha with a great individual goal.
I said Huddersfield would get this, but I'm worried for Huddersfield now, because I think Huddersfield are
second season syndrome.
Yeah, I think it. To be honest with you, this second season syndrome started at the end of the first season, because they really struggled towards the end of last season. It was only the fact that other people were so poor that they ended up getting away with it, and this season, I don't see no hope for Huddersfield this season, to be quite honest with you. I don't see no hope for Huddersfield.
It's not looking good for them. Same as Newcastle, really. But no, they wasn't great. And it's a good 3 points for Palace, especially after the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's someone needed to win that game, because if it had been a draw, it would have done neither of them a favour. So
no. Moving on, Man City versus Fulham. Man City 3, Fulham 0. Man City just tore them apart. They scored after 90 seconds. Once you concede after 90 seconds at the Etihad, Fulham are going there setting up for a draw, aren't they, basically?
There was high expectations on Fulham when they come in this league, and they're sitting there. I think they're sitting there with 1 point, aren't they?
No, they're above us. They've got 6 points.
They've got 6 points. Sorry.
Is it 5 points?
I honestly thought they had 1.
No, they've got more than that.
Shows you how much I know.
No, they've got more than that. Let me...
We'll have a check, but there was a lot expected.
Sorry, 4 points they got.
4 points, okay, so they got 1 win. Yeah, that's right, they beat they beat someone. They beat
Burnley, wasn't it?
Burnley, yeah. But they got 4 points. There was a lot expected of them. That's 4 points out of 15. Is it going the way that they'd hoped to go? Could they be, candidates for the drop again, or do you think they'll be okay?
It's always going to be tough. I mean, the newly promoted teams. I mean, Wolves have started off well. Fulham, they started off well. They was playing good football. I mean, they got a big win against Burnley, who are a tough team to beat. But yeah,
not really. Not this season, anyway.
No, but a Sean Dyche team are hard to break down, and they beat them. What was it, 4-2 or something like that? But no, Man City were just Man City, really. David Silva once again running the show, got his 50th goal for Man City.
There was an argument the other day between two people in the Ironworks group chat. Who's better player, Silva or De Bruyne?
For me, now I'd go for, not now because De Bruyne is injured, but I'd just go for David Silva. I think he's got, but De Bruyne is a great player, but David Silva for
very
me,
different, aren't they?
David Silva's one of the most underrated players in the world. I said this a few weeks ago. I think he's a great player. I've seen him tear West Ham apart so many times since he's been in the Premier League.
He's one of them players, like, although he's always played for a rival, he must have been at City for close to 10 years now.
Yeah, I think he was one of their first sort of signings.
He was, yeah, I think he was. I think he was one of the first signings when, like, Robinho and that come in.
Yeah.
But he's such a pleasure to watch. The way he glides with the ball, the things he does with the ball, his brain, his passing ability, the way he waits passes and that, he's just such a pleasure to watch.
You have to appreciate that sometimes. And he's never in the press, is he? Negative press. He's one of them players that you clap off. You know, he's a absolute talent.
Yeah,
it's just a shame that the Spain team had players like Iniesta and Xavi, and because David Silva probably would have been a lot more.
Yeah, there was another argument about that with Carrick. But yeah, go on, mate. The next one.
Yeah, so Newcastle versus Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. I thought Arsenal would get the win.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I said last week. Did I say they'd draw?
I can't remember.
I think I said they'd draw, yeah.
Yeah, Ozil back in the team, scoring.
Yeah, scoring, yeah.
And Arsenal have picked up a little bit of form now, right at the right time, really.
Yeah.
To get themselves, I think they're around 6 or something like that. So, yeah, it's good, but it's worrying for Newcastle. It's very worrying. I mean, I've watched them a few times this season, and they've not really.
Is Rafa going to walk?
I don't think he'll walk, but he definitely needs backing in January. But
it's not fair on him, though, is it?
No, it's not fair.
They've not given him any tools.
No, he's still sort of working with the squad that he brought up from the Championship. And look, they done well last season, but that can only last because everyone improves. I mean, as you say, people were laughing at West Ham, but we went out and spent 100 million. Fulham spent 100 odd million. All these clubs are improving, but Newcastle didn't really improve. I mean, I think they got a couple of free transfers, and you know, I think their record signing is Michael Owen, 16 million.
And that was
2008, 2006,
10
something
years
like
ago,
that, 7, whatever. But and for a club as big as Newcastle to not spend that sort of money,
especially in this day and age,
and Newcastle being brought up, you know, Newcastle was always that team that had that big number 9. You know, the striker. They've always had that.
But the thing is, right? You do say that all through the years, I would have been able to name you the Newcastle number. I wouldn't be able to tell you who was now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You grew up with. Just before we started this, we was watching Newcastle Man United goals from over the years.
Yeah.
And you remember some legends.
The old ding dong battles that they used to have. Yeah.
And now you're right. I couldn't hardly name any of their players.
And not only did they, not sign enough, but they let Mitrovic go.
Yeah, who's scoring for fun at Fulham at the moment?
It's madness.
Their owners. I mean, we're not happy with our owners, but I'd have our owners all day over Mike Ashley.
Would you really?
Yeah, all day long. All day.
He's poison, isn't he? He's just not a very nice man. He's not there for the
right reasons, is he? He's you know, it's wrong, and I do feel sorry for Newcastle in a way, but yeah. But then moving on, the last game before we go into another song. Watford versus Manchester United. Watford, obviously unbeaten all season, beat Tottenham last week. Man United, and this is what I say about Man United: you never know what Man United are going to turn up. Watford could have won this 2 or 3-0, and it wouldn't have been a surprise. But Man United got the win. Lukaku scoring, and did you see Smalling's goal?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't see the Man United goals.
Great goal. Great.
Describe it to me.
It was a corner that come over, and it was like. It was sort of like, do you remember Gary Cahill's goal for Villa against Birmingham all them years ago when he sort of done like a sort of
for Villa
volley?
Bolton.
For Villa.
Did Gary Cahill?
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah, it was a great strike. It was like, for a centre-back, it was a great finish. And if it had been like Lukaku scoring that.
Was it a bit like the Anton Ferdinand goal?
Similar, but it was a lot closer. It was more in like just outside the 6-yard box. But
that sort of ballpark.
Yeah, it was a great goal. And then Gray scored for Watford. That was a great finish as well. And De Gea really saved them because Watford could have got a point out of that game.
They was. Well, I didn't see the goals, but from what I could hear on Soccer Saturday, they was really pressing Man United. They was.
Well, Matic took one for the team. He got a second yellow right at the end and got sent off, which led to the free kick that nearly got Watford an equaliser. So it was a great game of football. And Watford are very impressive this season. And I can see them. They're definitely being the top half this season.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. Yeah, they're into a nice little outfit. All right, let's have another song.
I think we'll play this one. I think this is what Johnny will say to us if we try to touch his Indian.
Yo, Hammer and the rest can go.
Give MC Hammer there. Can't touch this. Before we go on to this, let's talk about the Sunday game first, shall we? Yeah,
there's 2 games yesterday. We've already spoke about one. West Ham winning at Everton. We won't really talk about that much. Wolves versus Burnley. This was a really good game. I mean, Joe Hart, it's just like Fabianski. He didn't deserve to be on the losing team.
No, he was good again,
unbelievable.
Yeah, he was good again. Yeah,
and but Wolves get another win, massive win for them.
Yeah,
and these are the sort of games Wolves have got to win to stay in the Premier League.
Mid-table, yeah, definitely.
I think they had about I'm going to look at it because they had quite a lot of shots yesterday, and it's refreshing to see a team come up and have a go at in the Premier League.
They've got such talent in their team. It's like the creative players that they've got. I mean, they was making a lot of noise last year, and I went
30 shots they had.
30 shots, yeah,
30
but they
7 on target though. So
they need to improve
bad.
that. Yeah, get out on the training pitch. But they're such a refreshing team because they was making a lot of noise last year, and I was a sort of skeptic going, but can they do it in the Premier League? But they've got some excellent players. That Adama Traore who scored against us is a great little player, and then a couple of Portuguese lads they've got in there. They've got quite a few, I know, because they're sort of taken over by a Portuguese contingent. But yeah, they've got some decent little players in there, right? You know, people that are. Look, Wolves are a big club. I'm never going to say Wolves ain't a big club because, like, back in the days, mate, Wolves were one of the biggest. But, you know, people that could be playing for the Cities and the Uniteds and the Tottenhams of the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. They got some good players, and as you say, they are a massive club, and maybe it's their time now. Maybe it's their time to join the Premier League and do what Stoke City done. They come up, they was here for like, what, 10 years?
I met a Wolves fan last year, just as they was coming up, as they got promoted on the Football Fan Show, which we're going to talk about now. I went to the Football Fan Show party on Friday night. I was out late. I had a couple of drinks. I got home all wobbly.
I see your pictures, mate. You and Claude having a little chin wag over a sausage salad.
I love talking to Claude. He just
he's a nice bloke. I think they all are. They get this image, don't they? People only see him on the screen shouting and hollering. But no. So how was it?
It was brilliant. Yeah, obviously it was a screening of the Football Fan Show that we was involved with last year is back. Ryan's on there Wednesday. That will be broadcast on Friday.
Friday night, Channel 4.
Friday night, Channel 4, midnight, which is, it was on Thursday, but Friday night, midnight. I know it doesn't sound like a great time, but that's when people are up and watching telly when they're coming home from the pubs and things, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a bit of an improvement on last year. But, I watched the little premiere. Robbie, Robbie's one of my good pals, and one day when we get into the new studio and we can have guests, I like to have him in to chat a little bit about Arsenal and Arsenal Fan TV and everything that goes along with it. You know, Robbie's one of my good pals. I'm very proud of him. I must say, I'm very proud of him that he's making it into the mainstream and stuff. You know,
he's worked hard since we've known him. I mean, and he's always
his work ethic is unbelievable.
Yeah, he don't just sit indoors. He's out every day. He's always doing something. He's always going to a premiere or to see footballers or just to do anything outside the Emirates. And he does work hard, and he deserves it. He deserves it.
But the first one went out on Friday, Saturday. You caught up with it.
I watched it.
What did you think?
Yeah, it was all right. It was.
What did you think of the Tottenham boy? Not your cup of tea.
Nah, I think that's what lets that show down a little bit.
I think people like. I've met Expressions. I like Expressions. He's a good lad, but like the persona you see. What's going on?
That chair is right on the edge there.
That's all right. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I met Expressions. He's a good lad, but he's literally the way he is on camera, off camera.
Oh yeah, I know. I've met him.
It's not a persona or anything like that. He's just 100 miles an hour, and like.
It's just
for me, I'm an old man, you know what I mean? It's too much for me. And I ain't got the brain he's got either. I can't think up the things that he thinks up.
You can see sometimes why people do get annoyed at people like that on fan channels and think it is an embarrassment. But look, if that's the way he is, that's the way he is. You know, there was other fans on the show that I thought represented their clubs very well. There was no West Ham fans on there, so that's why I'm going on there this week. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we've got a win, and I'm going on it, because if we'd have lost that and it was 5 out of 5, I think I'd have pulled out with an injury. I'd have done a carol.
You're gonna have to see the fatty Hazard, Louis.
Oh, is he there?
He must be there. Yeah, it's Chelsea, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I like him. Well, yeah, we've had a few questions come in. First of all, a good mate Nick, funniest banter at away games. He's put here singing Harry Potter is coming for you. He's obviously
there's always
John Joe Shelby.
There's always a classic.
But yeah, I mean, I love the banter of the away fans. I love it when you get there and you're sitting right close.
I'm a bit of a sadist because I'm not one to massively give it to away fans, because like when I think the modern fan, they jump on something too quickly. Do you know what I mean? Like Saturday, for instance, we're 1-0 up and people are going, you're in, you know what one I'm talking about, yeah. And I think to myself, if they score, that's going to get rubbed right back in your face. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it has done. So I'm not one to go. But what I like to watch, right? Not so much about. I like to watch how upset, like when you're beating a team, like Everton, you know, and they're expecting to turn up and roll you over. I like to see the faces of people. I just sit there. I can sit there watching the faces of people, the way they're getting frustrated, the way they're jumping up, the way they're flinging their. I mean. It's the way people jump up and just flip. What is that? flinging your arms forward. What does that do? And they're flinging their arms forward, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I just love watching that, and I could watch that as much as I could watch the game sometimes.
There's nothing better than being an away fan and you're winning, and you can just see, like you said,
it's frustration.
I had one last season, Leicester away, when we went there and won, and I remember these two Leicester fans sitting there, and they was giving me a bit of grief all game, and like, he's sitting there with his dad, like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
That,
I'm like,
and the Southampton couple.
Oh yeah, the Southampton couple, yeah, Gemma Collins, and that was fun.
No slight on Gemma Collins, of course, beautiful woman. If you like a bigger lady,
very, very bigger lady.
Yeah.
But, no, listen, I've had some great away games, and there's songs that I can't repeat on this radio that have made me laugh so many times down the years, especially for Tottenham players. But no, I love all the banter in a way, but it's always good when you win, but it's 10 times worse when you lose, and you got to... Do you know what the worst thing? I think, like, you know, like when they score a last-minute goal.
Tottenham away,
Southampton away last year when it was 2-2 and they got that penalty in the last minute.
The one that always done me is when, because we again.
What was the game where the kids were giving you all the stick?
Southampton. Yeah, Southampton. Yeah, and it was, I told him that the steward told me that they hung about the statues, and I told them, I know you're going to be on the statues after the game, and they seemed to shut up after that and
disappeared.
And they left. Yeah, but yeah, the Tottenham one. It's happening, because I know it winds them up. It's happening again. It's happening again.
Yeah.
But when it comes back in your face, I hate it. That Tottenham game when we was winning 2-1, and they come back and they beat us 3-2 in the last 2 minutes, and then
Harry came with
and then they're all you got 60,000 people shouting out, "It's happened again!" When you've just been singing it 2 minutes before. Yeah, I was devastated.
3-2 and boop, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But another question: old grounds. After Everton having some of the worst restrictive views, do we now all take for granted modern stadiums and accept more as a customer? I mean, yeah, Everton's a bad. A couple of years ago, we had the same sort of view, but Palace for me is the worst ground. Yeah. If you're past that first 20 rows, you ain't got a clue what's going on.
But that's poor, isn't it?
Yeah, especially in today's game.
The thing that winds me up, because that view at Everton was terrible. We was in front of a bollard, and we was up in the gantry. Not as bad as Palace, but the gantry was getting in our way. And I'm thinking to myself, I've paid money to sit here, you know what I mean, and look at a post for most of the games, you know what I mean. And like, it's like Everton is a funny one, because I've never seen a ground like Everton. Like,
it's a very old-fashioned stadium.
Yeah, like the stand that we you know, they put the away fans in. Obviously, they modernised it after the report back in '92 or whatever. But the stand that we sit in, it's an it's like, it reminds me of the old dog track. It's still got wooden. It's still a wooden floor. It's still got them old-fashioned, you know, seats in it and all that. And like, I love seeing things like that, because it obviously, like, you know what I mean. I love thinking about the history in them stands, you know what I mean? Like, these stands have been standing here since the 30s, 40s and things like that, and I think, yeah, I like it, but it is, you know, when they're designing them, they wasn't really designing them to pack as many people in as they do now, and the way they pack them in now.
Yeah, I mean, Everton got a stadium move in a few years' time, innit? So we're missed grounds, like, I know we're saying this, but Selhurst Park and Everton, all these old grounds. I think Fulham have got an old-fashioned stadium that I'm looking forward to going to.
Well, they was meant to be moving about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They never ended up materialising.
I mean, give me a poor view at the bowling ground over the London Stadium any day.
The old West Stand, mate, behind one of the bollards. Yeah, I would have took that.
We'd take that all day long. But no, that was a couple of questions in.
Do you take them for granted, though, the modern stadiums?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we don't realise how lucky we are sometimes. I mean, when you go to these lower league clubs and you see their grounds, like when we went to Shrewsbury last season, and you look at their stadium, and even when you go to Bournemouth and you look at their stadium, and you look at what we've got, I mean, sometimes, yeah, we might take it, but we do take it for granted.
Chelsea even.
Yeah, Chelsea. But they're
going to have a new stadium soon.
How spoilt are we when you go to grounds like the Etihad, the Emirates, Old Trafford, Newcastle, Anfield? You know, these are great stadiums to visit, and
they are great, but it's driven towards commercialism.
But then you find there's a lot better atmosphere down in League One, League Two.
Yeah.
You know, even in the conference, there's great atmosphere at these grounds, and I take me hat off to all these fans that travel up and down the country that support these sort of teams, because they get like, some people get like 100 people going to an away game, less than that, 50 people. You imagine that?
Oh, I mean,
we go.
I've seen games, mate. They only one.
I remember when we played Wimbledon at home in the Division 1 at the time.
Yeah.
And they had about 36 fans there.
Yeah, I remember.
Because this is when they was going through that transition of MK Dons and
that was just about
Wimbledon, and we just signed Rio Coker off of them and McAnuff, and I remember the announcement, and like they must have come down in a minibus. No, but you got to give them credit. You got to give them credit for travelling, and when you get the fans like Leyton Orient and Dagenham and Redbridge that travel up and down to teams up north, fair play to them.
Yeah,
we're spoilt in the Premier League.
But we was just saying that the other day, like, because I was doing a bit of sums in the car on the way up to Liverpool, because I was saying to him, I hate travelling up north for a game, like, especially when you're going on a Sunday, you know what I mean, and you got to come back. Like today, I am knackered, I am shattered, because I didn't get home till like 3 o'clock in the morning. I've had to get up again this morning at 7 o'clock, and I ain't been a bit. You know, I'm absolutely, and I was driving like 8, 9, 10 hours yesterday. So I'm shattered, and I know you normally do it. Yeah, that's right, mate. You normally do it. You know what I mean? But I'm shattered today.
It does take and it sets your week up, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you start off the week tired.
Like, I'm shattered today, but like when you think about the Premier League, there's like, we was doing the sums. There's about 10 clubs where I don't have to travel out the city for. Do you know what I mean? Or 9 clubs or something. Yeah. I don't have to travel.
And even when you
think about Newcastle, that means they've got to come down here 9 times, 10 times.
Well, when you look at other teams like Southampton, Bournemouth, not really that far. Brighton, an hour and a half.
It's only we totally out. It's only Huddersfield, Man United, Man City, Newcastle, Liverpool and Everton that we really have to travel a long distance for.
And saying that, Huddersfield's not that far away. It's 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, not that bad.
But anything else, Midlands or Southampton, it's 2 hours, and then everything else is in our city. But when you think about Newcastle, we're right up the top. Every away game is at least a 3-hour journey.
Well, I don't mean any disrespect from this, but we got rid of Sunderland and Middlesbrough. Newcastle could go down this season.
Do you know what? I hate that.
Just give us another Welsh team.
Yeah.
We got rid of
Cardiff,
Swansea. Now we've got Cardiff,
distance, isn't it? Yeah, but we're quite lucky really in that respect, because it could be a lot worse. And when you see as you say, when you see the teams in the lower leagues that travel up and down the country in a bunch of 50, you know, travelled halfway across and you know, some of these grounds, right, we're in the lower leagues, and we do take this for granted as well. Sometimes they get there, they've travelled 400 miles, and it's been called off because there's been a bit of snow. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen that before.
Sometimes the away stand ain't covered, and they've got to stand in rain.
Yeah.
I mean, you witnessed it when you went AFC Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so we are lucky in the Premier League. But no, thank you to Nick Tucker, crossedhammers.com, for sending them in.
Yeah, definitely.
Also runs the Metalhead Hammers on a Saturday down the Carton Horses. So if you love
home of the post-match point.
Yeah, home of the post-match point.
Not tonight though. We're going to be doing that.
No, not tonight. But yeah, if you want to get involved with the Metalhead Hammers, head down to the Carton Horses, and Nick Tucker will give you a nice big kiss. shall I say buy everyone a beer? Can you imagine how many people turn up?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he will buy everyone a beer. Yeah, he will.
He's a lovely bloke.
Website's doing well, I've heard. What else we got? Yeah, go to another song quickly.
Yeah, go on. Have another song, and then
let's have another song. You know what? I don't normally talk about the music on this show, but I'm going to line up this one. This is the first CD I ever bought. I'm not going to say it's the first song I ever bought.
Barbie Girl, is it?
No, it's not. It's a remastered edition of Oasis. Do you know what I mean? And it's a lovely rendition, but this is always like special to me because it's the first CD I ever bought. So a bit of Oasis. Do you know what I mean? A bit of Oasis. Yeah, you know what I mean. I love that song, man. It's a remastered.
That's a good song choice, mate. That's a very good song choice.
Thank you. Am I on? It doesn't sound like I'm on because I've turned the volume down.
Oh, you nearly got there.
Right, we've got 15 minutes left. We've got to preview the rest of the games. We've got to look at West Ham and there's Champions League this week.
It's the start of the Champions League, mate.
So, do you look forward to the Champions League? We're never in it, so
do you know what?
It's one of them things that I don't really follow, but I know everyone else does.
I did when it was on ITV. I think since it went to BT Sport, I think it's lost a bit of its.
Well, it's not available to everyone, is it?
No, that's it.
I'd saying that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was right into it. I've watched the semi-final and finals now. that's probably about it.
Yeah, unless there's a big group game. Like, I mean, there's some great. The English clubs have got a tough start. I mean, Tottenham away to Inter Milan.
Yeah, they did beat them a couple of years ago though when they first got into the Champions League.
Yeah, when Gareth Bale tore them apart.
Yeah,
at the San Siro. But yeah, that's a tough start for Tottenham.
And they did go to Juventus last year and give them a game. It was only the return that they got beaten.
They beat Real Madrid last year and Borussia Dortmund as well.
Yeah. So we can't rule them out, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then Liverpool start off their campaign against PSG, the big money spenders.
Yeah, they've spent some, but I can't see past Liverpool. Do you know what the thing is about Liverpool? I think they've got the European experience.
Yeah,
they're so rich in Europe, aren't they?
Liverpool and Europe go hand in hand, don't they? They always seem to pull out the big results against a big team. And last year they got to the final, and it was only Gareth Bale's spectacular goal that wasn't even mentioned in the goals of the season.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was the goal of the season because it was the most important goal of the season.
Century.
Yeah, it was the most important goal of the season. To do that in a game of that magnitude is, it's the goal of the season. End of that. There's no discussion. But yeah, I still can't see past Liverpool in this one. To be honest with you, I think they've just got too much European experience. They just seem to take to it like ducks to water.
Yeah, Man City kick off on the Wednesday night, kick off their campaign at home to Lyon.
Yeah,
you'd expect City to get through that, but they sort of struggle in Champions League.
They do, but they've had a good run at it now. You know what I mean? Like, and you could in the first couple of seasons when they was in it, they was getting used to it when they pipped Tottenham to fourth and all that. But they've had a good 10 years in this now. This is about maybe 8th or 9th year.
Yeah, they've got
on the spin that they've got.
Last year they got to the semi-final where they lost to Liverpool.
Yeah.
This year they've got to go one step further.
Yeah, and every year it advances for them, and the money they spend, you're going to expect them to be.
Let's be honest,
to be there or thereabouts.
Man City's owners, that's probably what they want the most. Just like Abramovich for Chelsea, he wanted that Champions League, and he ended up getting it. Manchester United. Start off against Young Boys. That is a team that's not. They're not playing against loads of
they're going to
little
get stuck
kids.
into the Young Boys. No, Man United. Young Boys. I remember Tottenham playing the Young Boys a little while back, and they nearly come unstuck. But no, I can't see past Man United here, to be quite honest with you. Mourinho's sort of getting a bit of a flow together as well, just before they play us. Coincidentally.
And then Europa League on Thursday. Chelsea travel to PAOK Salonika. I ain't heard that team for years.
No, yes, that's a great team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, Chelsea are going to win that quite comfortably, to be quite honest with you. I can't tell you too much about PAOK Salonika because I know their name.
You don't know about PAOK Salonika?
No, mate.
Let me run you through their history.
I haven't heard their name in about 20 years. So
I'm looking for Arsenal. Oh, here we go. Oh my God.
Europa League.
Oh my God. Why do they have to play a team like that? No, I can't pronounce teams right. They're playing Volskla Platava. Yeah,
I think they're going to win.
Yeah, that team. I think that's it. Rangers have got Villarreal. And yeah, I think that's it for the English club. So yeah, it's good to have the Champions League back. But what we love is Premier League football, don't we, mate?
Of course we do.
So yeah, let's have a look at this.
Especially this week, we definitely love it this week.
Let's have a quick rundown of this week's fixtures. Fulham versus Watford is the early game. Hey, that'll be a good game.
No, I think Watford would do that.
Makings for the good game, that.
They've got this style of play this year, Watford, where they just bully teams, and when everything's going...
they've done that against Tottenham the other week.
Yeah, they're quite unbeatable. So, they did put up a good performance against Man United. So, yeah, I think... who are playing?
Fulham, Watford. That's how entertaining that game is. Burnley, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, flying, absolutely flying, definitely, 100%. I've got no doubt about it.
Then you've got a tricky one for Cardiff at home. They've got a tough run in the staff. Man City this week.
I don't even words. It's a given, isn't it? You might as well not play.
We've said that so many times down the years, and you know that Cardiff have probably nicked that 1-0. That's what happens. But no, I can't see past Man City winning that. And then Palace, Newcastle, massive game that.
That is a huge game.
Newcastle need the points. They need a win.
Newcastle need the points, but they're away. And Palace picking up the win last weekend. I think
Palace seem to struggle at home.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see Palace winning this one, and I think he's going to heap massive pressure on Benitez. I think Benitez goes by the end of September because I can't see him wanting to carry on with it all because it's just a mess.
End of September, what, next week?
October, sorry.
I was going to say.
Yeah, sorry.
Give him a chance.
I thought it was September. I thought it was coming into September. I go on holiday next.
Yeah, I know. You're waiting to go on your holiday. Right, Leicester, Huddersfield.
Oh, that's a tough one because Leicester, they've been getting
That was a heavy defeat for them. At
yeah, it was a bad defeat, but I'm going to say a draw there.
Liverpool, Southampton.
Liverpool to carry on. Liverpool. Southampton versus Southampton B.
Yeah.
No, I think Liverpool carry on there.
Danny Ings can't play in this game, can he? He's on loan.
I think he's on loan, yeah. So he can't play. But no, I think Southampton B take the points.
Cool, this next fixture, I'd like to have seen this one on Sky. Manchester United versus Wolves.
That'd be a good game.
That's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah, that'd be a good game.
Big game for Wolves.
It's a
big game for Man United as well.
Old Trafford. I'm going to plump for a draw.
Thing is, with Man United, they've got to entertain their fans because last time they was there, they lost 3-0 at home to Tottenham.
Yeah,
which is a huge defeat.
Yeah.
So they really need to kick their season now, don't they?
I think it's a draw.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a draw.
And then the 5:30 game is Brighton versus Spurs.
Massive
tricky one
that's
for Spurs.
That's a tricky fixture on the back of 2 defeats as well. And I just said, as I said, if you look at the Spurs results and the way it's going at the moment for them, another loss could be catastrophic for them.
I'm glad you had to say that, not me.
They're another club, and there's a lot of uncertainty around Spurs at the moment. You know what I mean? They got off to a good 3 games. They've won 3 on the spin, and then they've lost the last 2 on the bounce. Brighton's a tricky fixture, but there's a lot of uncertainty. You got goalkeepers drink driving, and the other one that don't look much cop, and their top scorer looks like he's finished for the season already. I think it's a tricky one for Tottenham. I think it's a real tricky one for Tottenham, and I'm going to go for a Brighton win.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with that. I think Brighton might. I'm not going to say cause an upset, but no, I fancy they could nick a win. But then again, it's one of them things, and you don't know what Tottenham team's going to turn up, and they could
absolutely smash them.
They need a win. Yeah, they could go there and win 4-0. But then moving on to Sunday, we'll start with a late kick-off because
you tell I'm a West Ham fan.
I can.
Go on.
But yeah, we'll start with a late kick-off because then we'll move into the early one that'll finish off as West Ham. But yeah, Arsenal versus Everton. Everton again on a Sunday. I think I see a stat today. Their last 12 games they've played on a Sunday, they've lost 10, drawn 2.
Who's this?
Everton. Arsenal have picked up a bit of form.
Yeah,
they've got 3 wins on the bounce.
They're starting to look a bit. I don't know how the injury crisis for Everton is going to be looking at. They'll have obviously Richarlison back, which would be massive for them because that's what they was lacking a bit of that at the weekend, and they could definitely cause the Arsenal defence some problems. But Lacazette and Aubameyang, their partnership is starting to look nice and strong now. Obviously, injury barring, if they start together, from what I see from Everton's defence on the other day when they really failed to deal with Arnautovic, Lacazette is a similar sort of player. He's got the same sort of upper body strength, and then you've got the pace of Aubameyang. I think this could be a tricky one for Everton. I think they could be on the end of Tonkin here.
Yeah, I think the same. I think Arsenal will run out easy winners in this game, maybe 3-4-0.
5-0.
5-0. Yeah, and then we move on to, and we'll preview this game a little bit.
Yeah.
For all the West Ham fans out there, West Ham versus Chelsea.
2 minutes. So,
massive game for West Ham. Massive game, especially coming from the win at Everton yesterday. Everyone connected with West Ham is going to be buzzing now. Do you know we
what?
Needed that win.
Last week I would have said Arnautovic would be key for this game because he picked up a bit of an injury and obviously we're going to be sweating on that. But Antonio come in and I thought he'd done a very similar job. Obviously he ain't got the goal scoring threat that he has, but don't forget a couple of years ago he played up front and he really took that to that like a duck in water. You know what I mean?
I think hopefully Hernandez will be back as well this weekend.
Yeah.
Look, Chelsea have got to drop points at some point. Let's just hope it starts this weekend, and let's just hope West Ham turn up like they did yesterday at Everton, put in a performance, because if we walk off that pitch losing 2-1, and we've put in a performance, you can clap them off. But no, we definitely need to step it up. It's going to be a tough game. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this. I think we're nick a point against Chelsea, against a very good Chelsea as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of the Total Football Show. What's this? Okay. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of the Total Football Show. It's showing me texts during the outro. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us on the Total Football Show. We'll be back next week, same time. What we got coming up next, John?
Colin
Hudd on the. Is it the same thing as last week? What was it? The UK House Legends UK. So Colin Hudd's coming up on the UK House Legends UK show after this. But thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back next week, same time, previewing all the stuff. So thank you very much and good night.
Good night, everyone.